the Garmin Edge 1050, possibly the most advanced bike computer ever made. More like a mobile phone, it gives you the ability to pay with your head unit. The brightest touchscreen ever on a bike computer. It's easily the most expensive bike computer on the market, but the main question that every prospective buyer has is, will it fit on my bike? Let me tackle some of this as I give you my first thoughts. This latest release from Garmin says hold my beer to its predecessor, the 1040. It swings for the fences with literal bells and whistles, compromising maybe its battery life and maybe some of its form factor. It ships with all of the standard mounts, but the question for anybody with carbon or aero handlebars is, will it fit my existing mounts? Information about exactly what it's going to fit is a little bit scarce. The best source of information seems to be a forum on weight weenies, with users reporting the bikes that it does and doesn't fit onto. One user has suggested that an upside down 1040 is a great proxy for testing whether or not it's going to fit. A lot of other users are just expressing their frustration that Garmin has made a 7mm change to the position of the mount. My Factor Ostro VAM with the latest headset and the matching mount, it does not fit. Well, not unless you like having your computer angled down quite prominently. I did reach out to Factor's in-house component brand Black Ink to get a sense of whether or not they would be building a mount that would fit the 1050. They got back to me and they were as surprised as we all were with the change. It seems Garmin had not really announced that there was going to be a difference in the mold, and they haven't had a chance to create a mount to support it yet. They advise that they don't yet have plans for a new mount, but it's probably something that will come eventually. I can imagine most are probably going to be in this position. There are a few third-party companies who have released mounts that you can order that are specifically designed to support the 1050. But after dropping $1,000 on the head unit, the $200 price tag for these custom mounts seems like a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. Fortunately, I've devised a bit of a solution. It's clean, it's simple, and most of all, it's cheap. It's going to solve for anyone who's on a Black Ink headset or a headset that uses mounts that use GoPro flanges. Keep watching and I'll show you how I did it. So apart from the obvious Garmin versus Wahoo comparison point, which is not something I really want to cover today, but I will cover in another video at some point, the first impression is it's big. I'm coming from a Wahoo Element Roam, which is a reasonably sized head unit, but this is a whole different level. The screen though is as impressive as it's made out to be. It's big, it's bright, it's crisp. The amount of data that I can get on there is incredible. Once I get a better lid on the Garmin ecosystem, I feel like I'm going to be impressed with what's possible. Another first impression is it's quite small. It gives you all kinds of alerts. Like when you're about to shift from the big ring to the little ring. It gives you traffic information, as well as when you have a big sharp turn coming up, you maybe need to adjust your pace. Another really novel feature it has, it's got a software bell built into it. I guess that means the head unit has got a speaker that can play a tone loud enough to be a bell. I'm about to come into a whole lot of people here, so we might give it a little bell and see what happens. I don't think I got any reaction. So the solution is pretty simple. You can order this small part from Amazon, or if you do have a GoPro, it might be something that you've got kicking around. It's basically a small GoPro elbow that will connect to your headset mount and the Garmin mount and just extend it that little bit that's necessary to support the 1050. You will need an extra screw to make sure it's nice and clean, but you could probably use a GoPro thumb screw as well. Do make sure you get the torque right though. You don't want it to kind of fall down when you're riding with the extra elbow being a little bit loose. I'll include a link in the description so you can go through to Amazon and pick up one of these pieces. Be sure to let me know in the comments if this helps you out. The final thing I'll mention is just the sheer responsiveness of the display. Every touch command happens immediately. Paired with the size and the sheer brightness, it's a pretty illuminating experience. Although not unique to the 1050, the Climb Pro feature and the easy overlays with Insta360 cameras were a nice bonus. Okay, that concludes my first impressions of the Garmin Edge 1050. All in all, it's a pretty exciting piece of tech. It really shifts what a bike computer is to a new dimension. It goes from being a very simple device to being something that is far closer to the smartphones that we know and use every day. The size and the responsiveness of the screen alone is a really exciting feature. The volume of data that you're able to display on this screen is phenomenal. All of the other little features, I don't know. For me, the jury's out. They're a little bit gimmicky. The bell, I think it's something that I will use. Garmin Pay, I don't know. I really don't think I need it. I've got Apple Pay on my phone and my watch. I don't see me needing another device for this purpose. The mounting problem for now, I've got sorted. I'll be keen to see if Black Ink does come out with a mount that is supporting the 1050, and I'll probably grab one when they do. I am still coming to terms with the sheer size of the unit on the bike though. It is a bit of an eyesore at first, but I think it's something I'll probably get used to. The switch from Wahoo to Garmin is a really interesting one, and I think that there's a lot of depth to explore there. As I said earlier, I am keen to make another video that goes into that in a little bit more detail and weighs up where I land on the Wahoo and Garmin debate. Are you in the market for a Garmin Edge 1050? Have you bought a Garmin Edge 1050? Are you on one of the previous Garmin models? Are you considering a switch? I'd love to hear what your first impressions are, or even what your impressions are from the marketing material that you've seen so far. Other than that, folks, until next time, see ya!